Welcome everybody. It's July 28th, 2020. Today we are going to terminate Keystone Jacks. Keystone Jacks are very useful because what we can do in a room, we can make it decorative. So you can see here, I have two wall outlets. So if these are in the wall, they look very decorative. Most offices have 1, 2, 3, 4. In a larger room with a lot of computers, what we would do is do what we call a punch down block. So this is 8 punch down. So there's 8 connections in one room and they punch down and 8 connections the other. So this is the result of what we're going to do. Today we're going to work just with a keystone. The tools you'll need would be wire cutters, wire strippers, and punch down. It's a combination tool. And also 2 straight through cables, a cable tester, and also a piece of Cat 5e. So once again, we're going to follow the 586. So if we look at our keystone here, we have 2 rows. And you can see on closest to the RJ45 end, you'll see a B and an A. And in this particular keystone, B is the top row and A is the bottom row. So this side, it seems to be the same: white, brown, brown, white, blue, blue. It corresponds with these little slots we're going to push the wires in. On this side, B starts with white, orange, orange, white, green, green, and 586A starts with white, green, then white, orange, orange. So we're going to stay with the 586. So the first thing we're going to do is, once again, I usually go to my second knuckle. We're going to use our stripping tool. On this particular tool, we want to go to the very first notch. So we want to squeeze, place the stripper around, rotate one time, squeeze, and then pull off. Bend, and then you should see the outer coating come right off. This particular doesn't have the pull string, so this is a little cheaper cable, but it's also easy to work with and nice bright colors. So if we look at our keystone, on the top row we have brown and blue on one side and orange and green. So what I like to do is get them separated so it'll be easier. So there's my orange and green, and over here will be my brown and blue. Now you want to make sure that you put the plastic sheathing inside. You can go all the way up, but I usually go towards the bottom, because you want, when you put this top on, you want it to be covered. You don't want wires to be exposed to dirt, dust, and things like that. We'll start with the white, orange, orange side and white, green. So just untwist your wires. So we want to arrange them so we can put, and I use my fingernail to kind of push on the inside and then push it in. And I'll do the white, orange, then the orange. And what I want to do right now is just go ahead and kind of push these in a little bit. So you take your punch down tool, and it has this V in it. So we're just going to push this V down, just kind of work it back and forth a little bit so it goes in there to the bottom. And you can kind of feel it slip in. I just want them in there so they don't pull out. I didn't push all the way down yet to seat them to cut into the actual metal yet. I'm just kind of getting them arranged. So now we want to do white, green, green. Once again, using my nail to kind of help me push them in a little bit. And then what you want to do is, once again, take your punch down tool, kind of work them down to the bottom, being careful. And you'll kind of feel it slip in. This last one, be very careful. Don't push your connector out, because you'll actually bend, because it's kind of flimsy at the end. There's not, and these others have these others to rest against. So you can see that's seated there. So what I'm going to do now is just, once again, hold down tight, and I'm going to push down as hard as I can, wiggle back and forth. So push down, go front to back. What you're doing is pushing that metal down on metal. Now let's do the other side. So this is going to be white, brown, brown, white, blue, blue. Separate my wires. So we start with white, brown. Once again, get them started. I'm not going to finish them yet. I want to kind of get them, because what happens if you keep moving around, they'll actually pop out of the slots. So it becomes very frustrating. Take your time and you should be fine. So we need white, brown, brown, white, blue, blue. Once again, helping with my inside nail to guide the wires in. And then go ahead and put it in the slot. Kind of go back and forth until you get it seated. So you gotta do this 4 on each side. So now I'm going to push down hard, holding my connector with my other 2 fingers, rocking back and forth. What I'm doing now is actually pushing it into the metal. So then take your wire cutters. I'm going to use these nice small ones so I can go over top my little trash can here. I'm just going to trim off the wires. In another video, I'll show you how to use a professional punch down tool. This one is about $3, $4. It's very nice, very cheap. So then we can see we have one side done. So we're going to go to the other side. Once again, use the very first notch, squeeze, rotate 1 time, squeeze and pull off, bend. So we need orange and green, blue and brown. So once again, I'll start with the orange, untwist, orange and green. Try not to get your wires to cross because it becomes difficult to punch them down then. There's not a lot of room in that inside. So line up my white orange, push it in. Get my orange. So this time I'm actually using the tool to help me get it started. So I'll do white, green. It gets harder to the end when you have that piece of sheathing down at the bottom, so it takes a little practice. Use your tool to kind of get the wire lined up and help it get to the right spot. And then push it down gently until we seat it. Do the white, green. So now we're going to finish them by pushing as hard as we can, rock back and forth. Be careful, hold the connector. It's called a punch down because we're actually just punching down, straight down. So once I seat them, I go back again and make sure put some good force on them. Now we have to do the white, brown, brown, white, blue. And the white, brown, white, brown, brown, white, blue, blue. And remember, we're going by the 586 color code. 586A starts with the white, green. Get them started. Then I'll come back and double check the color code and also go ahead and finish it. And if we did this correctly, we should have a straight through cable. We could put the tester in. We're going to test it here once we finish the punch down process. So go ahead and finish them by pushing down, rocking back and forth. Careful at the very end that you don't go sideways and actually break it off. Trim your wires. I like to have the trash can here, saves me a lot of cleanup. And then I kind of look at the side and make sure they're all pushed to the bottom. So now it's time to test. So you'll need 2 straight through cables. And here I have my flute tester. So I put the remote in one end, connect it to one of the keystones, put the other in the remote side, put it in the keystone. It's 2 feet, and you can see the pin out goes pin 1 to pin 1, pin 2 to pin 2, 3 to 3, 6 to 6, 4 to 4, 5 to 5, 7 to 7, 8 to 8. So this is an actual working keystone that you could use. That'll be the end of the presentation.